Good morning friends, welcome to the point. In today's video we are going to discuss a very interesting topic, that is money multiplier. Now this money multiplier tells you how the money is multiplied in the economy, how money leads to creation or the generation of more money in the economy. So let us start the topic. Money multiplier is a way of creating money in the economy in the form of credit on the basis of reserves kept with bank. So first I'll explain what is this reserves kept with bank. As all of you know, and I have explained my previous videos also, that every bank has to maintain certain reserve ratios as prescribed by the central bank, which is RBI. Now once this reserve is maintained, the rest of the money is given by the banks as a loan to the people who approach them for taking loan. For an example, if let's say this is a bank, Mr. A comes in and open a term deposit account and deposits 100 rupee over here. Now out of this 100 rupees, let's assume 10%. So 10% of it will be maintained as reserve with the bank. Rest with what is left is 90 rupees. So now this 90 rupees is lent out in the market as a loan. So now this 90 rupees will get again circulated in the market and will generate or help in generating more money. So this is what is explained by the multiplier, that how money multiplier or how money multiplies itself. So whenever bank accepts the money in the form of deposit from the people, they keep certain part as a reserve, as I told, and use the rest to create loans in the market. The money that is lent creates or generates more money, and this is how the multiplier works. We will definitely understand all of this through a proper example. Wait for that in the upcoming slides. As of now, what you need to know is that there is a reserve that the bank maintains, the rest of it lends in the market, and that helps in creating or generating more money. What is the formula of money multiplier? So it is 1 upon the reserve ratio. So whatever the reserve ratio which is prescribed by the RBI from time to time, we'll put it over here, and the whatever comes is the whatever number is is the money multiplier that is functioning in the economy. So friends, more the reserve ratio, for an example, I'll explain you in the layman terms. So in the previous example we were seeing that 100 was coming as a deposit, out of which 10 bank used to keep it with self and 90 it used to lend. Okay, we'll take another situation. So 100 again comes in the bank, out of it the banks maintain 20 as a reserve ratio. So what is left in the market to lend? It's just 80 rupees. So if you see, the more is the reserve ratio, the more is the reserve that is which bank is maintaining it with itself, less is the amount that is available for circulation in the market. So whenever the reserve ratio increases, the money multiplier or the speed or the way the money multiplies in the economy reduces. So this has to be less if the RBI wants more liquidity in the market, and in case if the RBI wants that the less liquidity should be created in the market, so they would increase the reserve ratios so that not much money is lent out in the market. So this is how the money multiplier works. Moving on to the next slide, that is the example of money multiplier. I would rather not take this example and explain you the next slide, in which it is presented in the tabular form. So this is the way. So let's assume, or let's keep it the reserve ratio as 10%. Okay, now we'll start with the example. Okay, at stage 1 the deposit that came in is rupees 100. Okay, so the deposit amount is over here. Money lent out is 90. Why? Because out of it 10% we are maintaining as a reserve. As I explained, out of 100, 10% as a reserve, so 10 goes to the reserve. So 100 minus 10 is 90. So 90 rupees is lent out in the market. Now when this 90 rupees is lent out in the market, so we will assume that this 90 will again go as a deposit in some other bank. So this 90 is going as a deposit in bank B, we'll assume. So again 10% has to be maintained as a reserve ratio. So 90 minus 9, so 9 goes in the reserve, and 90 minus 9 is 81. Okay, again this 81 is deposited in bank C. So we'll assume whatever the money is going in the market is again being deposited in the bank in the some or the other way. Now this 81 rupees goes into bank C. Out of this again 10% reserve ratio, so 10% of 81 is 8.1, and then what is left left to lend out in the market, it is 72.9 rupees. Now if you see, this keeps on going. This now again this 72.9 will go in bank D, out of which again the reserve ratio will be maintained. So if you see, it is leading to generation of more and more money. So if you check this column, so initially it was just 100 rupees in the market. Okay, when it was deposited here, it led to the creation of more money. So how much money is available for the circulation? 190 rupees. So if you see that deposit at every stage is leading to the generation or creation of more money in the economy from 100 rupees. Now since that has been deposited again and again in the bank, more and more money is created at every stage. Now this is how it works in the economy. That money leads to generation of more money, provided that is deposited in the bank. So money multiplier does not work in case if the people are not depositing money in the bank. So that is why it is again and again advised by the government as well as the central bank of the country that you should deposit money in the banks, which could lead to the generation of more money, and we would not, or that would reduce our dependency on the loans, that is the country's dependency on the loan or external borrowings. Because why? If the money is deposited in the bank, it would lead to the generation of new and more money. So if you see this process, that is at the 9th stage, 43 rupees was left. Again 43 rupees came in as a deposit, 4.3 kept as a reserve, and 38.7 lent out in the market. Now this 38.7 again went to some bank as a deposit, again some part as a reserve, and 34.9 rupees as a lent out in the market. So it keeps on going. It is not that it will end at the stage 10. It keeps on going and going unless this becomes zero, which is a very rare case. It doesn't just boils down to zero. So this process keeps on going in the economy, that money deposited and then reserves and then again lent out in the market, and that is how the money multiplier works. Now this reserve ratio will entirely depend upon the RBI prescribed CRR and SLR rate, and RBI keeps on changing it depending upon the scenario in the country. Now if the RBI wants to increase the liquidity, they would reduce the reserve ratio so that more money is lent out in the market, and if they want to suck out the liquidity from the market, they would increase the reserve ratio. Why? Because then less money would be created in the market. So this is how this money multiplier works. I hope it is clear to you, and please remember this example. You can just create a table, though no one asks you to present this table. It is just for your better understanding that I have placed it here. So friends, this is all for the today's video. Stay home and stay fit. Thank you so much for your patience listening.